60, and good morning to you, and thanks so much for being with us. Let's greet Walter Schroth in the studio with us, and Bob Headland is on the phone with us from the Beaver Bopcats. Bob, good morning to you.
Good morning to you.
And Walter, you, good morning.
Good morning, Todd. It's a pleasure to be here, as always.
Oh, well, if you two fellas are together in our studio in some form or another, it must mean it's time for the Jimmy Stewart Airport Festival and for the Beaver Bopcats to come to town.
That is correct, and this year, as you well know, it's more than just the airport festival. They're also having an air show.
Yeah, absolutely. It is the Jimmy Stewart Air Show, rebranded this year.
Rebranded.
And what a great event it is. Of course, a part of that event is always the hangar dance happening at the Jimmy Stewart Airport, and Bob with the Beaver Bopcats has been engaged to come into town again. Bob, how's the band sounding these days?
It's sounding very good. We had rehearsal last night getting prepared for the big event on the 9th of June, and we're looking forward to coming there to the Jimmy Stewart Airport for the airport hangar dance and the whole weekend. So hope everyone can come out to that event.
Oh, yeah, and what an event it's going to be. Walter, give folks the details on the event itself.
Okay, so we've pretty, this is like the 9th year that the Airport Festival has sponsored this, and it's like the 11th year we've done it in Indiana. So finally, I think we've got our scenario down pat here, Todd. And so the way it's going to work, as it has in the past, is the doors will open at 5 o'clock. It'll be in the Lease Aviation hangar. We'll begin serving a light picnic fare dinner, pulled pork, pulled beef, potato salad, pasta salad, that sort of thing, at 5:30, and then at 6:30 we'll do our honorees program for the veterans. We've got 4 outstanding veterans selected again this year. These guys are willing to accept these small plaques in appreciation of their service to the country, but they do so primarily as representatives of all the veterans from all of the eras. And then at 7 o'clock, Bob and his crew will take over and literally dance the night away.
And for folks who want to know, is there a cost?
Yes, there is. We've got two sets of pricing. One, if you want to buy your tickets in advance, we'll give you a discount on it. If you want to come and buy them at the door, which you're most welcome to do as well, there is an additional cost on it.
And how do people do that?
Okay. Eventbrite.com is one of the ways they can buy them in advance, or they can pick them up at the airport at the terminal building right now. I believe the costs on them are $35 a couple and $20 per person, and then if you buy them at the door, it'll be $40 for the couple and $25 for an individual.
Hey, Bob, when folks come into this hangar dance, it really is an experience that can take them back in time 70 years or so to an airfield in London or wherever it might happen to be, right?
It's sort of a World War II retrospect, actually. In our program, we're playing a lot of the big band hits from the 1940s during World War II, especially the music of Glenn Miller, since that ties into the theme of the whole event. And we're playing a whole bunch of music for the 3-hour dance, including regular dances like the bossa nova. We've got the Safinato on the program, and Artie Shaw's Begin to Begin, and a whole bunch of music to fill the 3 hours. And a lot of people take advantage of the music and get out on the dance floor and cut up a rug.
Well, that's when the event really takes off, isn't it? And take off. That's a term, Walter, for the Jimmy Stewart Air Show.
Absolutely, absolutely. And of course, as you know, Todd, there's the other Jimmy Stewart connection here to the dance. Is he starred in the movie the Glenn Miller Story, which Bob just referred to as some of the music that will be highlighted that evening.
Yeah, the Glenn Miller Orchestra. They did hangar dances. They did shows in remote locations.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So, Walter, for you, the hangar dance is very meaningful, I know, because you have such a great historical mind. You are so into the memorabilia of the day and the atmosphere of the day. What are some of the things that really stand out that you look forward to every year happening at the air show?
Well, I guess, Todd, I'll really go back to the fact that we select 4 veterans to be honored, and regardless of whether they're World War II vets who, as everybody knows, are slowly leaving us, or actually leaving us more quickly than we would like, or whether it's folks from Vietnam, Korea, or some of the desert wars. That's the real thing that's of interest to me, and is really the highlight, is to be able to recognize those people and tell a little bit of their story and how they served their country.
Yeah, it is a very special thing, and I'm sure, Bob, that stands out to you as well.
It does. In the program, we have one selection that was arranged by Dave Wolpe. It's called Salute to the Armed Forces, and it's a medley of the 5 military anthems for the different branches of service, and it's our way of making a musical tribute to the veterans who sacrificed and gave to their country.
Now, when you think about the Beaver Bopcats, Bob, this is a group made up of musicians you're not professional musicians. You're a bunch of guys and gals that just love to perform and get together from the Beaver County area and surrounding areas. And I know that when everybody gets together, there's a good chance that some of those musicians might not have ever played or heard music such as this before, especially those of the younger ones.
The younger ones, it's a new territory for them, but a lot of the musicians have played this type of music in school. If they've been in stage bands at their local high schools. The Bobcats started out as a high school stage band back in the 1950s, and William Schwartz developed the band in the 1960s. He's the one that gave the band its image and its repertoire and helped develop the band. And as a return, the profits that the band gets from playing the different jobs goes toward the William Schwartz Scholarship Fund to help a needy student go on into college to study music.
You know how interesting that is, because probably beginning when it did, some of the members of that band might have been members of a band who played at hangar dances in Europe during World War II.
And Glenn Miller had both a civilian band and a military band when he was in the Army Air Corps.
Yeah.
And he played both in the United States and primarily in England.
Yeah.
And of course, he was headed to France and unfortunately was lost in the airplane that went over the English Channel to visit Paris, and he met his demise that way.
Yeah, and what a loss it was. The Jimmy, Walter, you played up the angle of Jimmy Stewart playing the Glenn Miller story. The movie itself has some wonderful scenes of what the atmosphere is intended to be at the hangar dance at the Jimmy Stewart Air Show.
And that's exactly what we're trying to recreate. You know, what they basically did back then was they would take a hangar at one of the bases, air bases, move the airplanes out, go down to the chow hall, get some food, and in this case, in England's case, get downtown and get some young ladies to come out and dance with the soldiers and the airmen, and
string up some lights and go.
String up some lights, do a little decorating there, and give the guys a little taste of home and a little respite from the terror that they saw flying combat missions.
That being the case, you would love for folks to come to this year's air show dressed in 1940s clothing.
Absolutely. We encourage everybody to come to the hangar dance and or the air shows with in period dress. It would be most appropriate. We do have a C-54 coming in, which is a World War II aircraft, but are most known for the Berlin airlift after the war and the Candy Bomber. We have a Navy TBM torpedo bomber Again, it was the kind of aircraft that the George Herbert Walker Bush flew during World War II.
Yeah, yeah, it's going to be right here at the air show. It's going to be a fantastic weekend. And I think one thing we didn't say to folks is it's June 9th and 10th.
It is June 9th and June
the
10th.
dance is the 10th.
No, it's June 9th for the dance.
The dance
Saturday
is the
night.
9th. Okay.
And again, it's kind of the highlight of the event. But Todd, I'd be remiss if I didn't thank everybody that's been involved in this program this year. Nathaniel Arthurs has been the chairman. There's been some support from the Center for Economic Development. We've got donors, individual donors that have contributed to this. They've tried to raise some money by the development of a Jimmy Stewart challenge coin.
Mm-hmm.
Those who have a military background know what a challenge coin is. Some other time we can talk about those in a little more detail. But we have those for sale in order to make this all happen. And I have to take my hat off to the entire committee and everybody that's helped to support this program.
You lay down your coin, and if I don't lay down mine,
yeah, you got to buy.
I'll buy it. I'm buying. I better have mine with me.
That's correct.
Yeah. Bob Headland with the Beaver Bopcats. The guys and the gals are looking forward to coming. Give me an idea, Bob, of the makeup of the band. Singers, other musicians. What's the band comprised of this year?
We have about 20 members in the group. We've got 2 vocalists that will be singing, Kim Zarantz and Diane Clayton LeGood will be there to sing, and the group is directed by Andy Zarantz. And Andy and Kim are husband and wife, so there's a family group in the band. And we have 4 trumpets, 4 trombones, 6 saxes, and then a rhythm section of piano, keyboard, plus drums, and rhythm and bass guitar.
Oh, it's going to be a good night. It's going to be a really good night. Bob, thank you for being with us. Walter, thanks for coming in as well.
It's always my pleasure, Todd. We always enjoy these little get-togethers.
And folks, there you go.
Thanks very much, Todd.
Have a wonderful day. We're looking forward to your visit, Bob, and to the hangar dance itself, Walter, and by golly, the airport festival's just around the corner. It's Indiana in the Morning, 101.1 FM, AM 1160.